Hi friends, this is Kristen Fagan here. So today we're talking about mindfulness. Mindful is being thoughtful, but it's also about living here in the present moment. It's no secret that our modern day world is super busy. We've got a lot of distractions, and especially now, we might not have as many outside distractions, but we have a lot of distractions on our devices. So screens, notifications, TV watching, all of these things that sort of take us out of our mindful present moment and grab for our attention. Even just boredom, being bored. I know that when I'm bored, I mindlessly do things that maybe are not the best for me. I may eat in a way that is not really healthy or good for me, or I may take in too much stimulus from outside me because I'm just bored. Worry and stress are biggies too, and there's been a lot of that going on. When you're worrying too much about the past, you're not in the present moment, and when you're worrying too much about the future, you're not in the present moment. I know that for me, I worry a lot. In the future, I'm always worried about if I'm going to be able to do this or that, or is life going to unfold the way I want it to, and I tend to get caught up in those future worries, those dreaming big idea worries, and bringing myself back to present moment really helps with the stress and the worry. I think that, I've really come to be more aware that when I'm feeling really down and depressed, a lot of the times I'm thinking about stuff that hasn't happened the way I thought it would. And when I'm worrying a lot about what's to come, it really brings up a little panic and anxiety in me. And so doing practices to bring me right back to the present moment, make me mindful about what it is going on, really helps to calm my emotions. And one of the best ways to do that is being creative. You could not be in the present moment when you're being creative. When you are doing a creative practice, whether it is drawing or painting, or if it is cooking or gardening or making jewelry or any other creative hobby or practice, you really can't not be in the present moment. So they are fabulous practices to bring into your everyday. Journaling, that's another one. Speaking of journaling, I brought back my morning pages. For those of you that have been around in this space for a little while or know about Julia Cameron's The Artist Way, you'll know what I'm talking about. For those of you that don't, morning pages is a practice that Julia Cameron came up with in her book, The Artist Way. And it is a writing practice that you do in the morning, first thing when you're having your coffee, or maybe when you first wake up before you even kind of get yourself going. You just free write for 3 pages in your journal, notebook, whatever you have, and just let whatever is going on in your head just flow out onto the page. Doesn't have to be anything real important. It just can be just stream of consciousness. And I've even said in the past, like if you're struggling to start, you could even just start by saying, I'm here this morning to write these pages, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm tired, I've got this going on today, or whatever. Just start the flow of things moving. You'll be really surprised at how quickly you can get to those 3 pages. I even found this month, because I had stopped the practice for a little while, that I sat down the first day to do it and I was like at 10 pages. I was just like, boom. Everything was just flowing out because it had been so long since I sat down and wrote. And, journaling like that, writing of any kind, is a really nice conversation with yourself. It's a really nice way to kind of feel out what's going on in your life. So that's one way I'm being mindful, is writing my morning pages. Okay, I'm gonna turn down my video here. What else? I've got myself some water. I've got some new watercolor brushes that I picked up that I am going to only use for watercolor. I've never done that before. I usually just throw all my brushes together. But I recently heard that the acrylic sediment could mess with your brushes when you're using watercolor, and so I decided to give it a try and just pick up a simple set. This was from Michael's. It's got 8 different sizes in it. They're all round. They're all round tip brushes, and they go from the smallest, which is size 1, up to size 11. And I'm gonna pull out the largest one. So that's this one. So this is size 11. So I brought this journal out because I wanted to share with you this cover I did, which is just all mandalas on the cover. And you'll see what a mandala is basically a circular shape, and it's got repeating patterns in it. They can be geometric, they can be natural like flowers or feathers, little dots and lines. This one's got an eye in the center. This one's got a moon in the center, some petals along the outside. They're really a fun little practice. I'm going to pick up my smaller notebook, and these are another great way to doodle, to make little sections and create sort of a repetitive pattern marking. And then when you do something like a mandala, you can come back and take a look at some of the things that you may have sketched or put on here and then bring those into your mandalas. So we're going to do something like this today. We're just going to create a bunch of circles around our page, and then we're going to fill them in with some patterns. So before we get started, I'm going to have you guys close your eyes. We're going to do a little short meditation poem, and then we're going to do our colors, let them dry. And while they're drying, I think I'm going to talk a little bit about some crystals with you and do some card pulling. And then we'll come back and do our pattern. So go ahead and close your eyes and take a nice deep inhale. One of my favorite ways to get present before I start a creative practice is to do a simple 3-breath. Breathe in, and then just breathe out everything that happened before this moment. Let go of anything that occurred prior to joining me here. Breathe in again. And then when you breathe out, you are going to let go of everything that happens in the future. We're not going to worry about what it is we're creating. We're just going to be okay with what transpires. And then your 3rd breath, breathe in. And then just breathe out right here in this present moment. Be here now. Go ahead and keep your eyes closed. And I'm just going to read a short poem by Haley Milky. You can breathe normal. Be here now. It is the only place you have ever lived. There is nothing to run from, nothing to chase. And then just take another deep breath and go ahead and open your eyes. So I'm going to pick up my round brush. I'm going to add a little water to it, and I'm just going to use my simple pan palette to put down some color. You're going to want to stick with the lighter varieties of color because we're going to be adding a pattern on top. And you don't want your watercolor to be so dark that you don't see your pattern. And then you can add a little extra water to it to lighten it up. I'm just going to fill my page with circles and invite you to do the same. You could do them next to each other. You could do them all different sizes. And while I let that dry, I'm going to talk a little bit about crystals. So this is a beautiful little fluorite crystal that I've got here. And this is one that I've been kind of carrying around with me the last couple of days for March. Crystal support is another fun way to just sort of be present and mindful. And I'm going to share with you a couple that are good for mindfulness. Crystals have a unique vibrational energy, and each of them have their own spiritual properties. So they're a great way to either carry them, or you can design jewelry with them and wear them around. And you can also use them as a focal point for when you're doing mindful meditation. So this one is fluorite. It's a stone of mental order and clarity, and it's used to enhance your mental clarity and reduce your instability, bringing together a very balanced view of life. So another good one for mindfulness is amethyst. So this is just a little amethyst stone here. Amethyst is a master healer. It's a stone of higher consciousness, and it helps dispel negative energy. It's also a great balancing stone. It calms any of your harsh emotions and helps you to maintain balance. So I've got this guy here. Another good stone is malachite. It's a stone of protection. It protects our energy, and it's a deep green stone associated with abundance, strength, and growth. And it's another one that helps mindfulness by creating balance. It's often used to correct emotional imbalance and put you in a better frame of mind. I don't actually have any malachite. That is one stone that I don't have. So maybe I will keep my eyes open for some malachite. And lastly, I'm sure there's more of them, but this is the last one that I did a little quick research on. This one is chrysoprase, and I'm wearing a chrysoprase beaded bracelet. Chrysoprase is a stone of emotion. It's known to enhance your creativity, and it creates a sense of security, which can help your mind relax. It's specifically excellent when you need some healing with the heart. It is green, like our color of our heart chakra energy. So it's a great heart healing stone, and it promotes joy and happiness. So those are some crystals. Those are 4 that I kind of looked up before chatting with you today, but I'm sure there's more. And if you guys know of any others that help with mindfulness, being present, be sure to share that with us. All right, so you have a few options for doing your mandalas on top. You can use colored pencils, you can use regular pencils. I find that gel pens, so just regular pens that are a gel pen specifically, work really well. Micron pens work really well. These are archival ink. Or even just a Sharpie if you've got a Sharpie around. My only thing with Sharpie is that sometimes they bleed through the page, depending on your page. So just be aware of that possibility with a Sharpie. And a little thing you can do before you try out your patterns is create little swatches for yourself. So here I just created some little yellow and blue swatches, and then I used a few of the different types of pen or pencil on top just to see how it would write and if it was a good fit. Some of them didn't come out as well. Just a regular ballpoint pen didn't work that well for me. But you could do that on a separate page. Just create a little swatch of watercolor and test out writing on it. I do know your watercolor needs to be dry, so you're not going to want to, see, this guy's still a little wet. I'm not going to want to put any marks on there because the wetness of the paint is going to make whatever writing utensil I use not happy. It's not going to work. I'm just going to dab that out a little bit. And I think I'll use a marker. See how that goes. So when looking like something like this, maybe I'll even put this over here a little bit. Let's see if I could close that. With mandalas, you're going to start in the center. So I'm just going to pick a spot, create a little circle, a little dot. And there's a couple of ways you can do them. You can do a center dot and then create another ring and another ring and then fill in your rings. Or you can grow from the center out. I will say, and if you really wanted to get technical, you could create little grid lines for yourself. I love just the growing method. So for me, I would start with my center and then create a little pattern. And then I may go around that pattern with another circle. Create another pattern. This type of method is a little more wonky and handmade looking. My circles are not perfect usually when I do this kind of thing, and that's totally okay with me. But if you want more precise circles, you may feel you want to use a device to make your circles first or create some guidelines. And I'm just going to grow another circle ring around. Whenever I do little lines like this, I tend to like to use them as guidelines for doing some lotus flowers. So if I've got, say, 3 right here, I may just kind of loop up and down so that I have the point in the center. And then I just turn my book around, do the next one. So don't be afraid to spin your book. You don't have to always do it in the exact same direction. And then you can connect through these little loops here. Protractor, that was the word I was looking for. Thanks, Candace. Candace says, surprise, I already used my protractor. Yes. So if you like using your protractor and like creating more uniform shapes, then go for it. And really, with these shapes, it's like you can just keep going and going and going. So I'm gonna leave that for right now and move on to a different one. Maybe I'll go here. And maybe this time I'll create three rings to start. And you could always kind of cut your shape in half, cut it in half again, go diagonally, and now I have something totally different to play with. They are super fun. This time I might want to draw a little moon on the inside here. And now that I have a moon, maybe I want some stars. So you see how you can play with a theme a little bit if you wanted to. And now I'm going to move to this one here. I think I'll grow this one again. Maybe this time I'll go up and down, left and right with these sort of feather or leaf-like shapes. Fill in the empty space. And then you can decide to embellish them a little bit if you want. Maybe I'll put another small circle in the center. When I do them like this, they kind of remind me of the Laura Numeroff books from when my kids were little. Like, if you give a mouse a cookie, then he's gonna want a cup of milk. If you give him a cup of milk, then he's gonna want... And in a way, when you're growing them like this, I do feel like it kind of feels like now that I did these lines, what do I want to do next? I agree, Beth, those birds are fantastic. You can color in some of your shapes, leave some of them open, just to create a different contrast between your mandalas. It's interesting to see how they're going to kind of interconnect as you're going to, you know, are you going to leave spaces open, or are you going to try and overlap some? One thing I really love is that a lot of my shapes and stuff are really simple. They're just lines and circles and little loops. But when you have them all together like this and you're adding all these different little bubbles of mandalas, the finished page is really fun to look at for the eye. Melanie says, line drawing like this is my favorite art meditation. Yeah, I am right there with you. I haven't done these in a while, actually. Which is why I was so excited for Mindful March. I was like, oh, it's going to be all about mandalas, because I've kind of fallen out of practice with them. So I'm going to let you guys continue on this, and I do have a little deck of cards here, and this one I picked up is the crystal reading cards. This is from a friend. My friend Dawn had purchased this for me for a gift for my birthday, I think, and I thought, since we're talking so much about mindfulness and crystals, that this would be a good one to pull from for you guys today. So if anyone would like me to pull them a card, just say so in the comments and I will pull one for you. Great. Okay, so first I'll pull one for the collective. Ooh, so this is for the collective. So this is Moonstone, and it relates to cycles. So let's read a little bit more about that. I love Moonstone. It's one of my favorites, and I keep buying beads. I keep buying Moonstone beads. Faster than I can make stuff with. So Moonstone cycles. The color is a variety of white, pearly, and cream, and it's related to the sacral and the heart chakras. Moonstone holds within it the essence of the divine feminine and assists in the deep connection to the moon and the blessings she bestows. The powerful Moonstone medicine also holds within it the magic and essence of honoring cycles of life in all its aspects. When you allow the natural cycles of ebb and flow to enter your life, you will feel a much deeper sense of freedom and inner peace. Crystal meaning it connects you deeply to your feminine. It enhances fertility, the planting of new seeds, ideas, and inspiration. It creates new beginnings, new directions, and creativity. Connects you to the energy of the moon and her cycles, and assists in birthing new projects and creation. So Moonstone assists you in bringing a deeper understanding and recognition to the cycles in your life. We are all connected to and a part of everything that exists in the universe, and energy flows in cycles through us at all times. look forward to being more mindful with you all this month. And I'm going to do that by writing in my journal. I'm going to create some more mandalas, create some settings and some boundaries for yourself, either on your phone or in other areas of your life. And let's just take back our personal power a little bit and be present this month as much as we can. All right. Love you all. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thanks so much. Bye, everybody.